Hello folks, it's Wank Ivy with another Letters to an Asexual. This is number 64. I'm making this at holiday time and I've been spending some time with family and having some good times with friends. So I hope anybody else who's watching this at holiday time is also enjoying their holidays. Today I'm going to go ahead and get a video made for this month because I think the end of this month is gonna be kind of crammed in with a lot of family visits and holiday stuff, so I really want to go ahead and get my video up before I run out of time. Today's is going to focus on, well, I started making it because I want to focus on something that I like to call the football analogy, and if you pay close attention to my videos, you'll probably remember that I've gone over this before as a partial response to someone else. It's kind of the idea that, hey, if I hate football, do I need a channel where I talk about how much I don't like football? You know, that same argument. So I'm not going to go into that in my introduction here because I'm going to explain it in some pretty heavy detail in my response to the person I'm going to share with you today. Also, you should know that the person I'm going to share with you today is actually the same person as my last video was about, because she keeps coming back and sending me messages and seems to think she has a really important point, but as you'll see when I show you what she's been saying to me, it seems to be getting a little bit less composed and a little more frantic. I don't know what's going on, but I have some continued responses to some of this, and I don't really say any of the stuff that I'm saying in response to this because I think she's actually going to listen to me, but I kind of think I have a few more nuanced things to say. And one of them is going into this football analogy. So let's see. On my last video, which was my epic examination of maturity, I got another comment from the same person that it was about on the video, but since I have blocked her, it didn't show up on the video, but I still received it as a private message. So nobody's able to see what this person is trying so hard to get everybody to see, but the first one was just sort of a repetition of what she tried to say the first time. And it was just this, again, you have the right to do what brings you peace and the dignity to bear the consequences of your own inequities. Because, you know, repeating the crap you already said when you clearly don't think I have a right to peace and dignity really makes an excellent point. But then I guess either she continued to watch the video and realized that she had more angry things to say to me, because then she left this really sort of incoherent, repetitive, insulting comment after saying that I had the right to peace and dignity in my own inequities, etc. And this is what she left me. I'll go ahead and just read it without commenting, and then I've composed a reply, partly because I'm just going to read it to you rather than trying to respond off the cuff, because I just think it'll come out more organized that way. And here's what she said to me. I never said that maturity has anything to do with asexuality. Regression or someone's age has nothing to do with maturity, you idiot. A lot of adults have childlike activities they enjoy. I just feel like you took it a bit too far. In fact, I think you're more scared to have sex than anything else. I think it's clear from my comment that you deleted on a previous video that I think you've pretty much integrated regression into your current lifestyle. If you've misinterpreted my comment, like the one you deleted, like how you probably interpreted your own internal dialogue, it would make a lot of sense how you think you're asexual. You know, sometimes I wish I could see things from your point of view, but I just can't get my head that far up my ass. So, you're probably wondering, why did she comment? Well, you can't expect the world to accept your BS and have them tolerate it. If you do expect that, then I'd say you're fucking with me and the rest of the world, which would be very ironic coming from you. You think I enjoy commenting on your videos? Well, to be honest, I'm just really not enjoying how you fuck with the rest of the world with your BS. I just want you to stop fucking with the world without our consent. And stop expecting everyone to buy into your BS. To be honest, I don't even think you fully buy into your own BS. My advice to you is go on a date. Okay, you wasted an hour and a half making a video to validate your own lifestyle. You can spend an hour and a half on a date. It's really not that fucking difficult. Don't just waste your time making a video expressing that you're not scared to date either. I'm not interested in hearing your excuses. Don't bother wasting your time with seeking external validation for your excuses with a long video. Prove me wrong. That's why I comment, you fucking coward. And because I'm sick of you trying to fuck the world with your BS. Holy shit, I get to live how I want in a way that's not hurting anyone, and I'm not ashamed of myself. Die mad about it. So now I'll just read the comments again and intersperse them with my responses. So here we go. I never said that maturity has anything to do with asexuality, regression, or someone's age has nothing to do with maturity, you idiot. I wonder where name-calling fits into the maturity scheme. A lot of adults have childlike activities they enjoy. I just feel like you took it a bit too far. So, let's review. She thinks she's in charge of how far I'm allowed to go with my enjoyment in my personal life. And believes this reflects on me somehow. Okay, I mean, that's fair, right? There is a nebulously defined point after which it's too far. And an internet stranger who's been aggressive and unkind and dismissive and relentless should naturally be the arbiter of where that point is. Makes sense. I guess this is news to some people. I don't have any obligation at all to make you comfortable with how I enjoy my so-called childlike activities. In fact, I think you're more scared to have sex than anything else. I think it's clear from my comment that you deleted on a previous video that I think you've pretty much integrated regression into your current lifestyle. If you've misinterpreted my comment, like the one you deleted, like how you probably interpreted your own internal dialogue, it would make a lot of sense how you think you're asexual. So let's review. Again, she never said maturity has anything to do with asexuality, but then she throws out her brilliant theory about how my obvious fear of sex is part of my regressive life. Got it. I'm not deleting any comments. I blocked this person, and that generally makes their comments not show up. People are always telling me I should just block people who harass me unless, oh, I just like getting attention and I'm enjoying the harassment. But then when I actually do block someone who's contributing nothing new or necessary, somehow that's the wrong way to handle it too. You know, sometimes I wish I could see things from your point of view, but I just can't get my head that far up my ass. Oh, wow, that's such a scathing burn that you totally made up yourself. You know what? You can shut up because you don't wish you could see things from my point of view. You just think you sounded cool saying that. If you wanted to see things from my point of view, you could pay attention to the videos I've posted about my perspectives instead of looking at them just to drop your turds about how much of a failure I am. So, you're probably wondering, why did she comment? Yeah, I don't really wonder that. I know that it's because you are really bothered on some level that I'm allowed to live my life how I want, and that I don't feel properly ashamed when you try to shame me. You are commenting because you need to force me to hear you. Because it simply infuriates you that I can live how I want, and it's not how you think I should live. Being preoccupied with other people's daily lives and obsessively harassing them for feeling good about themselves when they want nothing to do with you is pretty sad. I know exactly why people like you comment. You just can't stop yourselves. You need to snot at me and pretend you're speaking from authority. And when it doesn't work, you fly in telling me my head is up my ass and I'm an idiot and imply I'm somehow destroying society. Well, you can't expect the world to accept your BS and have them tolerate it. See, if you don't want to tolerate it, you just get to not push play on my videos, and then my talking that you don't like magically goes away. I assure you there are plenty of people who choose not to listen to me. You too can be one of them. If you do expect that, then I'd say you're fucking with me and the rest of the world, which would be very ironic coming from you. Look, I don't expect anything. I just invite people to listen if they want to be educated about people and ideas they may have been ignoring, and people who want to be decent humans are willing to listen. I didn't force you to educate yourself, and I obviously can't force you to believe it, and if you want to make a weak joke about irony when it comes to me fucking the world, maybe you should ask yourself why having sex is supposed to be so healthy and highly recommended, and yet you have no problem using it to represent a bad thing I'm trying to force on someone. I mean, is fucking someone a good thing or a bad thing? Is that not ironic? Gee. You think I enjoy commenting on your videos? Well, to be honest, I'm just really not enjoying how you fuck with the rest of the world with your BS. I don't think you enjoy it. I think you're compelled to do it because people who aren't just like you, but aren't crying themselves to sleep over it, are really unsettling to you. And you want to hurt us for daring to say we're okay. You know, you should probably ask yourself why you're so obsessed with me or what I do. After all, if you're so sure my pathetic fate is to regret my youth, hug my stuffed animals, and fruitlessly talk to my camera until I'm elderly wishing someone cared about me, you don't have much faith in the reach of my message. If you need help sleeping at night, why don't you just tell yourself that no one cares enough to listen to me? I can't be both the pathetic caricature you made up and capable of fucking the world, influencing them on a global scale, right? I mean, which is it? Nah, don't answer that. I've blocked you repeatedly, so you will stop desperately trying to talk to me, and you just don't seem to be getting the hint that your hateful snottiness is not helping anyone here and doesn't deserve a platform. You should probably just make your own videos about how sad and stunted I am, and I'll proceed to not watch them and not comment on them. I'm not losing any sleep over whether you mate or date or play with baby toys the way I do, so at least extend me the same courtesy. I just want you to stop fucking with the world without our consent and stop expecting everyone to buy into your BS. This isn't funny. You're making consent into a joke here? Me advocating for asexual people and spreading education on the topic is not violating people's consent in any way. And that's disgusting for you to make that comparison. If you honestly do not consent to hearing my message, you literally only have to stop pressing play. You are bringing my message to yourself on purpose and then pretending I forced you to look at it. It is really so simple to just not look at it. To be honest, I don't even think you fully buy into your own BS. Well, thanks for your honesty and your assessment of my character. I don't really know why someone would spend more than 20 years speaking on a topic if she thought it was BS, but maybe you understand that better than I can. My advice to you, go on a date. You wasted an hour and a half making a video to validate your own lifestyle. You can spend an hour and a half on a date. It's really not that fucking difficult. Okay, commenters. I would love you to tell me what your favorite thing about this hilarious statement is. I threw my head back and laughed like you wouldn't believe when I first read this. Here's what I love about it. This person actually thinks I just need to go on a date, and then I'll realize this is all ridiculous. She thinks I'm asexual and regressive because I'm scared and must have just never tried to date anyone, and that I should now spend time and energy trying to date, when the whole point is that I do not feel romantic attraction. I go out with people I like all the time. I spend time with them, I do it one-on-one, and I do it in groups, and I do it in public, and I do it cozy at home. I still have never felt romantic attraction to anyone I did this with. It's not a matter of time. It's not a matter of lack of exposure or fear. Not to mention, I've dated before, and the main thing that sucked about it was that doing it made me sure that I didn't want to. I did the same figuring it out thing almost everyone does when I was younger, and I came to an unusual conclusion that I'm still happy with in adulthood. Based on what I hear about sex and relationships, they're so compelling that people sometimes cheat on their beloveds or risk their job or status, so I'm pretty sure I'd notice it if I was experiencing that attraction. I'm the only person who can describe what I'm feeling. And it's not anyone else's business to tell me what feelings should be there or what actions I should be taking due to presence or lack of said feelings. You just arbitrarily decide I should want this, and treat me like obviously if I have time to make a video about something I do care about, I have no excuse for not dedicating similar time to behaving like you wish I would. But only one of us wants that for my life. And it's honestly getting pretty weird how invested you've become in my romantic life. Okay, let's explore a different example so we can talk about how hilariously bogus this is. Welcome to the football analogy. Say you don't like football, and say this is a slightly different universe and people are more fixated on football than they actually are. You grew up surrounded by football fans and football players and have been assuming all along you'd be into it when you were older, but then you played it a little in junior high because your gym class made you. It wasn't terrible, but you finished the unit and you were like, meh. You watched the Super Bowl a few times when you were younger, when you had friends who were into it, and you were cool with their enthusiasm, but you didn't really have a favorite team or get any actual enjoyment out of watching. You admit that objectively, you can see how other people would enjoy this. It's got strategy, it's got athleticism, it's got competition, but nothing about it really gets you going. And then you go on in your life. From the time you're little, they've been saying you'll be on a team or have a favorite team one day. They'll start assuming that your refusal to seek out teams to play for means you are hurt playing, or you actually just suck at it and you're making excuses for why you don't want to play. It just doesn't compute that you just plain don't care about it. People begin to invite you over pretending you're going to do something else, and then surprise, everyone's there to watch football. People begin mocking you and harassing you and sending you disgusting notes about your backwards, sad, dysfunctional character because you don't enjoy football. They make up reasons why you don't like it that don't reflect who you are. They passive-aggressively give you footballs or football collector cards for your birthday. They tell you you'd look a lot better if you'd just wear a jersey. They shame you for not really having an answer when they want to know what team you root for. They insist you must be operating from trauma or dysfunction or fear if you don't want to engage with this. And then, finally, you get fed up enough that you write an article or make a video about how you feel. Suddenly, a bunch of other people who never understood the appeal of football start writing letters to you. Some have been abused over it, sending you stories of how their parents forced them to play on teams because they had good running skills and were punished if their teams lost. Or stories of having peers tackling them for fun and yelling, "Get used to it! Better start liking it!" if they complained. And going to authorities always resulted in the authority saying they must be overreacting, or it's really their fault for not participating in football willingly, so they've made themselves a target. You realize that this aspect of society that's fun for most people can become a tool of harassment and alienation and marginalization for people who aren't part of it and don't want to just swallow hard and pretend. There are even people who say they tried so hard for so many years to like it, but they just couldn't seem to make themselves enjoy anything about it until finally it became a negative instead of neutral experience because of how much emphasis has been placed on their failure to feel correctly about it. If many people feel this way, why not organize and get some company and some support, as well as educating others on how they can enjoy their sport without compromising the happiness, health, and safety of people who don't feel how they do about it. But then, after you've been successfully doing this for years, someone comes along and says, "You know, with all this time you wasted on talking about the reality of your life, did you ever consider that maybe you could have just gone to a football game? Hey, stranger, why don't you stop making excuses and prove something to me by doing the exact thing everyone's been saying you should want to do your entire life? If you won't do this, you're a coward and a failure. Go to a football game, idiot! It's not that fucking hard! I mean, surely that changes everything, right? If you just try the thing you spent 40 years developing a nuanced perspective on. If only I'd just had some drive-by snotface zooming into my comments years ago to tell me I should just go on a date already. If you actually believe this is a reasonable solution, it tells me two things about you. One, you still don't have a realistic understanding of my life, even though I dedicated all that time to giving you the information. And two, you're treating my orientation like it's a problem I never solved. And that stops you from listening to what I keep telling you it actually is. This actually reminds me of a jerk from a while back who told me my asexuality could be solved if I'd just go outside once in a while and stop fearing. I don't know what he thought I was afraid of, or why he thought my life doesn't involve going outside literally every day. But even though fear isn't the motivating factor there, he still thinks he gets to say, well, you prove that you're afraid by not doing it. Well, or I'm not doing it for the reasons I've been explaining to you in these videos for years. People don't avoid foods they dislike or avoid experiences they aren't into because they can't do them for some reason. Sometimes people legit don't want to. And you won't fucking listen to us. Instead, you just assign us fears and dysfunctions because you think that makes more sense. It's selfish and closed-minded and childish to insist your worldview should be other people's standard. And it starts to sound really hilarious after a while, with how many times people have screamed, "Stop being so afraid!" when I'm not afraid whatsoever, and have actually done many of the things people insist I'm too afraid to do, and didn't enjoy them. That's why I don't continue to do them. Don't just waste your time making a video expressing that you're not scared to date either. I'm not interested in hearing your excuses. Well, one really good way to avoid hearing my so-called excuses is to not watch my videos. I don't care what you're interested in hearing. My life isn't about satisfying you or people like you. I know you feel better when you wipe your judgy hands all over everything I say, but don't think for a second that means you've proved it's true. Don't bother wasting your time with seeking external validation for your excuses with a long video. Prove me wrong. That's why I comment, you fucking coward. And because I'm sick of you trying to fuck the world with your BS. Okay. If you're unable to process that my desires and lifestyle are valid for me, I guess anything I say is just an excuse. If you're still obsessively stalking me and hate watching my videos, the way mature people do, I guess, take a look at the comments and see what other folks have to say to you. They're not providing validation to me. I found out other people feel the way I do more than 20 years ago, and that's why I started making materials to help our community. I don't need to prove you wrong by going on a fucking date. I don't know what makes you think I have any obligation to entertain your bizarre desire to mold my life into what you wish it was. If you live the rest of your life believing I'm a regressive coward, absolutely nothing will change in my life. So you go ahead and think what you want about me if you are so grossly unwilling to respect other people's diverse experiences. If you're still coming back over and over again to yell at someone who isn't living how you want her to, and you just hate that, yo, this message is for you. Ask yourself why you need me to hear that I should be dating. Why you need my life to be different than it is. Why you're not okay with me finding happiness the way I want to and do. Why you react to me saying I have the right to live this life how I want by hollering at me and calling me names and insisting I'm somehow cowardly by choosing to live my life how I want. I've gotten pushback from snotty crybabies like you my whole life, and living in defiance of expectations required self-assurance and strength. I know you wish I felt weak and sad, but I don't. And I'm not inspired to chase romantic relationships just because you and tons of other judgmental people can't stop framing my lack of desire as an epic life failure. You really need to ask yourself why you're obsessed with someone like me. Why you think I have any power to fuck the world, as you keep saying I am. Why you think I can't be a happy and mature person unless I do sex and romance exactly the way that makes sense to you. You need to accept that your view is the bigoted and narrow one, because you are the one who isn't okay with how other people live, even though they're not doing anything to you. You are coming into my space. You are shoving your boring, uninspired worldview on me. I'm not compelling you to press play on my videos, so you're literally forcing my opinion on yourself. And if you don't want it, if you don't consent, as you referred to it, you have every right in the world to just walk away. I've been trying to get you to leave me alone by blocking you, but you keep pestering me with more bullshit messages that no one else can see. I am not coming into your life and trying to make you live like me. I'm empowering other people who feel the way I do to understand themselves as legitimate, functional human beings, even if people like you have been shaming them their whole lives, demanding that they feel awful about their lack of desire. You need to ask yourself why it matters so much to you that some girl on the internet is 40 years old and likes herself, even though she isn't dating or married. You need to ask yourself why it bothers you that many other people feel the way I do. You need to ask yourself why you think other people's romantic lives should be your business, and why it makes you so furious that I've already heard your message for years and I blocked you because I don't need to hear it again. You need to ask yourself why you think my life would necessarily be better if I went on dates and didn't take it too far with whatever supposedly regressive things exist in my life. You need to ask yourself what you really think would change about your life or the world if I went on dates and owned fewer stuffed animals. You need to ask yourself how you think I am fucking the world by being happy with myself and my life, and why you think anything I'm doing takes a single thing away from you. You need to ask yourself why you're so upset about little old me that you're coming back again and again to tell me how I need to change even though I'm fine, and why you're spinning my choices as somehow limiting yours. You need to ask yourself why you've made a crusade out of something this petty, why you've come back to my videos again and again trying to comment, and why your comment is always about how I need to recognize that I can't be okay the way I am and ought to take steps to fix it, why you think it shouldn't be okay to live like me even if I'm happy. You should ask yourself why you can't accept the testimony of other people. You should ask yourself why you believe it's right of you to shame them and condescend to them instead of listening. And after you ask yourself those questions, you should acknowledge that you don't even marginally understand asexuality or aromanticism, that you are ignorant on the topic, and that you've been trying to speak from authority about other people's lives from an uneducated position. There are plenty of people like you who say hateful things about us, who don't accept that we're okay how we are, who put a ton of unnecessary energy into harassing us because they somehow believe badgering and cruelty will fix us. Instead of listening and realizing we don't need to be fixed because we're not broken. But finally, please just stop trying to force me to talk to you. Stop crawling around desperately sending me private messages that don't show up on my videos even though I blocked you. You should really be okay with it if some sad girl on the internet doesn't want to listen to you and has no intention of giving you unrestricted access to her platform for your gross comments. You should just accept that a mature and responsible person would be able to move on by now, instead of coming back over and over to tell me how I should live my life and how sad and angry you are that you have failed to hurt me. I have no such equal obligation to you, because you are sending me messages I am asking you to stop sending. You are contacting me. You're making hateful and ignorant comments about the content I made. I'm not doing that to you. I'm not attacking you. I'm asking you to stop attacking me. I heard what you said, and you don't need to say it again. I don't believe you. I think you're misguided. And I think the fire in your shaming commentary shows that you're just a really mean, awful person. If you're really so sick of listening to me trying to fuck the world with my BS, you can just stop clicking play and go away. If you actually meant what you said in your first comment, that I have the right to do what brings me peace, and you wish me the dignity to bear the consequences of my own inequities, then why don't you just leave it at that? Leave me to enjoy that peace and dignity and stop harassing me and insulting me obsessively. It is a very bad look for you. And if you do feel like you have to keep coming back to say things to someone who has blocked you repeatedly and is minding her own business, I think you are the one who needs to do some soul searching about how to achieve personal peace and dignity. And as an added aside, This is also a good example of why it doesn't work to say, hey, nobody really cares about whether you're asexual. Like, why is that an issue for anyone? You don't need to make an issue out of it because people don't care about that. No one's going to attack you over that. This is a good example of the kind of person who feels like they need to come into my space and say that I'm fucking the world, and that's ironic. So there are plenty of shapes that takes. There are a lot of ways that that opinion manifests. And one of them is like this. There are a couple of other kinds where, you know, people will take it as a personal rejection of their romantic advances, or they'll spin you as closed-minded, or they'll say it's some kind of violation of their religion. You know, I've done videos on a lot of these topics, but the point is, sometimes just your existence and your refusal to apologize for it is in itself offensive to them, to the point that they will come after you, like this person keeps doing. So I'm going to end my tirade there, and I guess I'll also just wrap this up, hoping that everybody can have a really good holiday. The rest of 2018 is here, and 2019 is around the corner as I'm making this video, so I'm hoping all of my followers are ready to get a fresh new start in the new year. I plan to continue making videos like these in the future. I hope I'll be able to balance negative videos of me telling off jerks with positive videos that are just straight up education. So feel free to drop comments in the box there if you have just a topic that you want me to cover. Not all of my letters are me responding to jerks, so I'd be glad to respond to a positive letter. So thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time.